to Conspiracies Against Wellness with your host, Janelle Elgaway.
Good evening, Con Nation, and welcome to Conspiracies Against Wellness. I'm your host, Janelle Elgaway. If you have a question or comment this evening, please call in at 415-915-2291, or you can live text me and chat with me on YouTube, which is Conspiracies Against Wellness.
On the toilet the whole time. I wasn't throwing up. It was so much easier compared to having nothing. Like I can't even tell you the difference. It's an amazing, remarkable herb. It really is.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding. And you would think that, like, you would wonder how a plant could do that, you know? But if you think about pharmacology, period, I mean, everything originally came from plants, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's funny that you just said that because I used to think that too, like, oh, an herb, what is an herb going to do? Like, I did not realize the benefits and how powerful they are. And, you know, I have a friend that I went to high school with who I was trying to talk to him about Kratom. Like, you know, look, dude, I'm telling you, like, it's going to work. Like, I did it. I'm telling you it's going to. I'm not going to steer you wrong. And he said the same thing. Oh, you know, what's this little herb going to do? Right. And he just passed away a couple of months ago from an overdose.
You mentioned something earlier about methadone is different than heroin. Can you explain that? Because I only know it as an opiate, or, you know, it's an illegal drug. Well, heroin's a legal drug, but methadone is given to get off of it or to continue. What can you explain that? Because I don't know anything about that.
I think the fact that methadone is more pure, you know, in heroin they're cutting it with all this different stuff, you know, dormant, anything to stretch their money out, so it's not as pure as the methadone is my guess. I don't even know. It is so much worse. Like, it goes into your bones. Like, your bones ache. You know what I mean? Like, heroin, you feel like you want to die, but like you're not gonna like actually kill yourself. Like, methadone makes you want to actually kill yourself once you withdraw. Like, it's really, really bad. I don't even know why it's so much worse than heroin. But oh my God, like the withdrawal from heroin is so much easier than methadone. And that's the crazy part that methadone is legal, you know?
Right. Well, and it's just like naloxone too, because I heard that there's a lot of terrible side effects from that, and it can cause personality, and it can cause mental issues. Well, not mental issues, but people have reactions to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that Suboxone can be just as bad as methadone withdrawal, especially when you have doctors pushing 16 and 24 milligrams. You know, like that is ungodly. When I took Suboxone, I was taking, I think it was 8 milligrams, and like I still felt pretty crappy when I came off of it, but I was never on it long term. But some of the people that I, told about Kratom, they were on it long term, and they were on very high doses, and I mean they had a hard time coming off of it too. And if it wasn't for Kratom, they say the same thing. It's just amazing how much easier it is.
Right. Can you have withdrawals from Kratom if you take it for a period of time and then stop, like a physical withdrawal?
Some people say they do. Some people say they don't. Personally, I just get really tired when I stop taking it. I know some people, they might feel like they have a small cold, but it's really, it's nothing like opiate withdrawal, nothing like that at all. Maybe, I think where that came from was the whole extract, because I think when you extract anything, that it's more pure, kind of like how I was talking about with the methadone and the heroin, how, the methadone is more pure. I think because the extract is more pure, like maybe you could get some withdrawal from that. But the plain leaf, which is what I use, I don't mess with extract, but the plain leaf, I personally don't get withdrawal from it. I just get really tired.
Okay. But if you think about, there's tons of things that we have physical withdrawals from if we take it for a period of time and stop. So, it doesn't surprise me, like caffeine, if you drink coffee every day.
I can't even stop drinking coffee.
Right.
I can't even stop that.
Yeah, I used to be a terrible soda drinker, and I'd be the same way. I'd get headaches and stuff like that if I, stop drinking for a day.
Yes, the migraines. The migraines is what gets me with coffee. That's the only reason why I have trouble stopping coffee is the migraines.
Right. We have a question from Stacey Fields on YouTube. She says methadone has a 24% relapse rate. Do you know if there's a relapse rate for Kratom, or do we know if there's one?
Honestly, I'm not sure on that. I don't know any studies that have been done on that. That's the problem. There's not a lot of studies done on Kratom.
Right.
So there's still a lot of unknown questions, but I can speak for myself that I haven't relapsed.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring up, there's been several articles recently about Kratom that it's an opioid. Do you know if that's true or not?
In my opinion, I say it's not, because personally, I won't touch any opioids. I have chronic pain, and I don't even touch pain pills because my brain does not know the difference between a pill or a bag of heroin. All it knows is that it's getting that happy feeling, and it starts to crave what I used to love, which would be heroin. So I don't mess with no opioids, no opiates, nothing. And I don't get that way from Kratom, which is why, if you want to classify Kratom as an opioid, then what about cheese, sugar, and chocolate? Those all hit the same receptors in your brain as well.
Right,
so it's kind of hard to say like that this is just an opioid, because I don't get that. My brain doesn't go back into wanting to get high mode like it would if I was to take opioids.
Right. Well, and I think Kelly stated yesterday, I asked if people can overdose on this. And they said, what I believe that 44 people have overdosed, but if you look into the studies more, the study that did that, they were on several other substances like heroin, right? Do you know, have you heard of that?
Yeah, they were all polysubstance,
right.
all of them.
And
and if you look up on, I think it's the FDA register, or their website or something. They have all of the, I think it's the FDA. Maybe it was a different site, but I've seen all of the autopsy reports. They were all polysubstance. Like, that's basically my favorite reference is, okay, so these people were taking kratom and heroin, or kratom and Imodium. So that's like saying, okay, I ate a blueberry muffin and shot heroin. Now I'm going to blame the blueberry muffin.
Right.
You know, you can't, you can't overdose, because if you take too much, you puke. Like, it's your body's way of, like, not being able to overdose.
Okay.
And that's what makes me so mad when I read articles saying about overdosing, because it's physically not possible. And there are no deaths from anybody that took kratom alone.
Right.
None.
Well, and I didn't realize, I thought, because kratom is a plant and it's natural, and so is marijuana, I thought they were similar. Do you know a lot about that? Or can you talk about that a little bit? Or do you know the difference?
I mean, it's not really the same, because you don't get high off of it, off kratom. You don't get high off of it. Like, yeah, you might get a little bit of energy. Some strains will calm you, but you don't get, like, high. Like, you're not impaired or anything like that. And plus, on top of it, I think Kelly had mentioned it yesterday too, is where you're not impaired at all. Like, you're not going to get a DUI for driving, because you're completely normal,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did a lot of your friends take kratom and use it, and do they enjoy it? Do they enjoy it, and do they use it regularly? Is it a social thing? What is it like?
Yeah, a lot of my friends take it, but it's not really like a social thing. Most of them either use it just to detox, and then they'll stop, or some of them will take it, and because I like to call it the mental mind fuck. After you detox, that's when, like, the cravings and the depression and the anxiety come on. So, for me, when I was taking kratom, it leveled my moods, it lifted my mood, it calmed me. The calmness would make my brain stop racing, so I wasn't having cravings. So a lot of them are not socially using it, but they're just kind of using it to aid in other issues that they're having.
Right. Do you have to, well, now that you've not used heroin anymore, or was it methadone and heroin, correct? And the methadone came after there? Okay. Do you use kratom more now, or less, or the same, since you haven't been using?
Well, I was using a lot less after I had detoxed, and then as soon as I turned 30, I started with a lot of chronic pain. So now it's kind of just depends on how bad my pain is,
Right.
I mean, my doses stayed the same, though, the whole time.
Should this be an over 18 and adult thing? Can kids take this?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay, yeah, because I didn't know if it was like soda.
No, I was... No, go ahead.
No, I didn't know if it was like, drinking soda and it was just, it just got a bad name or something. I didn't realize if it was like a, something.
No, the reason I think it should be for 18 and older is just because, you got kids eating Tide Pods right now, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You
Good
need
point.
to respond. You want some type of restrictions. You know what I mean? You don't want kids just taking too much and then they're puking all over themselves or something. Like, yeah, they're not going to die, but still at the same time, like, that's what's going to give it a bad name, because then you have people freaking out, like, oh my God, am I okay? Yeah, they'll be okay, but still, like, we just I think they need some regulation. So I think that people should at least be 18 and older.
Okay. Where do you buy this? Do you get it online? Is it from natural stores? Like, where can you get this?
Yeah, you can buy it online. There's a lot of online vendors. Basically, you just check out people's reviews, you know. Then you can also buy it in the head shop, but I personally don't recommend that just because you don't know who's bagging anything up. And most of the head shops, you know, they're all about profits. So they're just going to get the cheapest, crappiest stuff they can get to make the most money. So we usually say to stick out with online vendors and just look at reviews.
Is this like sold kind of like how marijuana is too, like, you know, dealers, or like if it's behind, if it's not at head shops or sold like that, or is it more?
Wait, say that again.
I'm so sorry. Okay, you know, well, I guess, can it be grown here in America? Let me back up. Sorry. Is there plants here that you can grow this with, or is it only shipped over here?
Yeah, you can grow it. It has to be like, I mean, it comes from the jungles over, you know, in like Indonesia and stuff. So it would have to be like climate control type things. I mean, yeah, you can grow it here. I don't know if it would be as strong as if it was naturally. But yeah, there are people that grow it.
Why do you think it's getting such a bad rap from the government and, you know, mainstream media and stuff like that, if it has so many medicinal values, and it sounds like it's all natural, you know, with very little side effects?
I love this question. Let me tell you why. Okay, so I was paying $50 a week at my methadone clinic every week for 3 years. Before that, I was getting locked up, going to jail in for-profit prisons. Wow. You have people right now, I should be on pain management for my chronic pain, but I don't need to go there because Kratom helps enough, you know? Look at all of the money the government is losing. Big Pharma is losing money. People getting clean, people not going to jail, people not getting their pain pills, people, you know, not suffering from side effects from their pain meds. People are not overdosing. People aren't going to the hospital now for, you know, overdoses or for their chronic pain that they just can't deal with anymore. You know, so all of these issues are being resolved, and now because of that, Big Pharma is losing a whole bunch of money. And we saw them do this with weed also, with marijuana. You know, oh, it's dangerous. Oh, it's going to kill people, blah, blah, blah. And yet here we are, 30 years later, 20 years later, and now it's being used medically. You know, so we see the scare tactics that they did with that, and it reminds me a lot of what they're doing right now, especially when they sit there and try and come out with this junk science and all this bullshit. Oh, 44 people died. You know, it's like they're looking for it. They're going to totally ignore the fact that this person had heroin in his system, or that this person was taking antidepressants, which says on the bottle can cause suicidal thoughts.
Right.
Okay, so if you have somebody that kills yourself and they have Zoloft and Kratom in their system, how can you blame the Kratom when it says on the bottle of Zoloft that it can cause suicidal tendencies?
Well, I'm a big advocate for the chronic pain community, and, you know, that they should be able to have the ability to use opioids too. And it seems like they're doing that with opioids. But the other thing I was thinking about too is, you know, they want an alternative to opioids. Why wouldn't they want that?
But then they're going to try and ban it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I ask myself the same question. They're always telling people, you know, oh, try and substitute, try and find something other than opioids. And then you find something, and then they're going to go and classify it as an opioid, and then they're going to try and ban it.
Right.
I don't understand it at all either. And they just want to do this whole acceptance thing. Just accept your pain and live with it.
Well, it seems like the common denominator, well, the root of everything is money. It seems like, you know, they can't either control it or make money off of it. But it's such a shame. Yeah. I know earlier, well, I was speaking with you. I saw an article the other day, and by the way, thank you so much for coming on in the beginning yesterday because Kelly was running a little bit late there, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
But I was started to bring up about that there was also a recent salmonella. I don't know if it was an outbreak in the product itself, or can you tell us a little bit about that and what was going on? Because I know people have been asking.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, here's the thing. Vendors in the United States are supposed to test their kratom before they sell it. So once they get it imported, they're supposed to test it, make sure that, there's no contaminants.
Mm-hmm.
They test it for, mold, salmonella, E. coli, heavy metals, all that type of stuff. So, I mean, just like anything else, I mean, my sister got salmonella from eating some food when she was a kid, it is possible. But at the same time, I kind of question it because I don't know if you read the article, but it's
mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense. They're saying it was like 28 people got sick, but in the same sentence, it says they only interviewed 8 out of 11 people, and the ages were like 6 years old to 67. Like, what 6-year-old is going to take kratom, first of all?
Right.
And second of all, like, if you only interviewed 8 people out of 11, where did 28 people come from?
Right.
I feel like they're trying to grab for straws. Like, okay, let's just keep nitpicking. Let's keep getting people scared of this so that they keep, they don't touch it. They don't want it. They're scared of it. That's what I feel like they're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they're good at, spreading, myths and lies and fear, because fear is what kind of drives it. And then if you don't know a lot about it,
mm-hmm.
It's easy to kind of keep pushing it. So,
yeah,
you're exactly
definitely
right.
Even like my mom and my aunts, they've all seen how much kratom has helped me, and yet they hear this stuff that the FDA says, and then they question me about it. And I'm like, please, come on, like, you guys understand, like, what is going on here. And they are the first to admit how much it's helped me and how much it's changed my life for the better. But at the same time, they hear the FDA in the back of their head, and they get worried. And that's what the FDA is doing to everybody. And it's so frustrating. So many people could be helped with this. And, they're just...
Right, and the crazy part is there is no FDA studies on this, though. Like, if they are really concerned about it, why aren't they doing any studies? It's been around for very...
for them to be made with it.
Exactly. But, maybe that's what we have to push more. I know you do advocacy work. Do they do that? Do they push to have more studies and education and information?
They talk about it, but... I mean, it costs a lot of money to do. I mean, there are doctors and scientists, and there are a lot of different people that are researching it, but not to the amount that they want, I'm assuming.
When did, I don't know if you know this, but when did Kratom start becoming popular in the United States? Do you know? Or
in the early... Well, it came, I think it was like 1992 that it came in.
Okay.
It just started getting big recently, but it came into the U.S. In the early 90s.
Right. We have a question on YouTube. They want to know if, well, first of all, what states is it legal in, and is it legal in my state? And how do you know what legitimate places to look online? Where can you find those?
All right, well, first, it's illegal in, let me see if I can name them all, Wisconsin, Indiana, Arkansas, let's see here, what's the other one, Rhode Island, and there's one other one, shoot.
Is it Tennessee, or is it just recently legal there?
Where?
Tennessee? Maybe I'm wrong.
Tennessee right now is kind of, they're fighting right now with Tennessee, but it is legal right now in Tennessee.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I don't know, there's a lot of different, I mean, I use Chicago Botanicals. That's the vendor that I use and get my kratom from, but anywhere online, you can just search for Kratom reviews, and you'll be able to find some good vendors online.
Do the advocacy groups have like online a list of known vendors or places that are safe that they know of, or do they go through more of a like a star system? How do they?
Yeah, they go through like an approval. Some of them do. Not all vendors are approved in these groups. Some of them are just kind of stand by themselves. But there's some groups where they do where you need to take a video. You have to have lab results to prove that you're testing your kratom. They want to try it to make sure that it's good enough to be sold, that it's not just bunk kratom. So you have to go through like a vetted type approval system.
Did they always vilify kratom like back in the 90s when it first came over, or it got popular, or has it just been more of a recent thing and because it hit mainstream media? Do you know about that?
Yeah, no, it's been more recent. Probably, I would say probably in the last like 5-10 years, maybe. I would say probably less than 10 years, but in between there.
When did you see it start changing? Like, and why do you think it started to change? That they looked at that and
I think once it started getting really big, especially when they tried to ban it in 2016, it brought in a whole lot of people that became interested in it. Just hearing all of the testimonies and stories about how many people it's helped, it just kind of opened the floodgates to a lot of people coming in, and a lot of people that probably shouldn't be vendors. Some of them shouldn't, some of them should, but it became very competitive. And instead of just anybody getting scammed or, getting bad kratom, they wanted to make sure everyone was getting good kratom, that it's safe, that it was tested.
When you say bad kratom, what does that mean?
It's just like anything. There's some that has a lower alkaloid count that isn't really the best quality, and then you have some that has a very high alkaloid count that is very good quality.
Have you known if they tried to, kind of like what they do with drugs, like put other additives into it and stuff like that, so you can have more to sell, to make it, less potent, I guess, or...
Well, I've heard, it's part of the reason we say not to go to head shops is because you don't know what you're getting. At least online vendors, you have a reputation, that they have to hold up to. So, if anything was to go bad, word would spread around and they'd be, their business would be done for. Whereas if you go to a head shop, you don't even know who that is or how to get a hold of them. It's just, there's nothing on it, on the bag. So, the main thing that honestly, I don't understand why anybody would cut it with drugs when you can make more money off drugs separately. But extract would be the thing that I worry about head shops doing, is just to make it stronger. Would be putting like extract on it and selling it as plain leaf when it's not, you know what I mean, just to make it stronger. But I haven't heard of anybody that's actually cut it with like illegal drugs.
Yeah, I didn't know if like you can like see a difference in it because it's a powder, right? Like in its form when they grind it up. Oh, do you know if they use just the leaves part of the plant, or do they use the roots as well and the bark and everything?
No, just the leaves.
Yeah, because I always wondered about that, because I heard that, with marijuana, you can use the roots as well, or they grind it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't. I've only heard about the leaves, but hey, who knows?
Right. How long have you been advocating now?
It's been almost let's see, probably 3-4 years now.
Okay. And why did you decide to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I went through hell when I was using. I mean, I was homeless for pretty much 10 years, like sleeping on the trains and the side of the expressway in the bushes and, the airport, pretending that I'm flying when I'm not. Like, I mean, I had a really rough life, and I just wanted to be able to help other people not go through that same life that I went through. So when I went to school to be a drug counselor, that's when I learned about Kratom, not in school, but at that time. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not even going to finish up because I was supposed to get my CADC after I graduated. And I was like, you know what? Instead, I'm just going to spread the word about Kratom and advocate for this, because why should I help people get clean with methadone or Suboxone when I had such a hard time getting off of it? I don't want to get people hooked on something else. I want them to have a good life and not be glued to the couch, nodded out. You know what I mean? Like, I want them to be up and have families and have a good life. And I just felt that Kratom was more of a route for me to go to, just be able to spread the word and let people know, like, where to go to get it. And, be a living testimony.
You've really turned yourself around, because with heroin, most people that I've ever known or heard of, they are either dead or in jail, and it just doesn't seem that they can get off. So if this is a way that you can stay clean, have you got clean before and relapsed, not doing Kratom, and then another time, and now you are? Does it help with that? Do you know? And
well, I mean, I started doing heroin when I was like 16 or 17. And the first time that I actually overdosed, my mom put me in rehab for weed, and that's why I learned about heroin. And then I got out. I found some people that did heroin, and I was doing it with them. I ended up overdosing, and I was pretty much like dead, like 4 shots of Narcan. I still didn't really come back. And so after that, I ended up going to rehab again, and then a halfway house, and then got out, relapsed, met some other junkies, and then next thing I know, we're shooting up. And constantly, I went to prison for a year, got out, got high. Like, I tried the AA thing, I tried the NA thing, made friends there, got high. I wasn't there. I don't know what it was. I don't know. Like,
could you accredit it?
What was that?
Can you give credit to Kratom, or do you think it was just you were finished and you were able to finally beat it?
I do give credit to Kratom, but I was ready. Kratom's just a tool. Like, you got to learn how to cope. You have to learn how to deal with life's problems. You can't. There's no excuse. Like, if you want something, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna find a way to do it. If you don't want something, you're going to find an excuse. And I was completely sick and tired of living the life that I was living. And I give a lot of credit to my husband as well. But, I mean, if I didn't find Kratom, I was either going to end up, on methadone the rest of my life, or, God forbid, end up going back to the other stuff. Like, I didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel until I found Kratom.
You mentioned you have pain issues. Are they chronic pain issues, or was it just in that period of time?
Yeah, I have a lot of back problems and all my joints. I'm pretty sure I have arthritis. But honestly, I haven't even went to the doctor for it, because I know they're just going to give me pain meds, and I don't need it. So
right.
I haven't even gone to the doctor for it.
Well, because I have a ton of pain issues too. And, if I would be able to do something naturally, that would be awesome. How well does that hold your pain? I mean, it
melts it away.
Really?
It melts it.
Huh, that's so interesting.
It's so stiff in the morning. I'm like oh my God, I'm so stiff when I wake up. And as soon as I take it, I'm good. It just melts my pain away.
Do you
not
ever,
just like make it like covered up, you know, like opiates do and stuff. Like it melts my pain away.
do you get high from kratom, or is it just like it's like, you know, eating food and then it just kind of energizes you or calms you down or helps with pain? How does it work?
Yeah, no, you don't get high off of it. When
Okay.
they talk about the euphoria,
Mm-hmm.
if you look up the definition of euphoria, it's like a state of being or happiness or excitement. Like that's like how it is. Like, yeah, I'm pain free. I just feel so good, and my mood is lifted. Like I'm just happy. The world is great. Like everything in life is good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how I feel. Like I just feel very happy, but there's no high to it. When what was the second part of your question again?
I forget now. I'm sorry, Mike, because my ADD is really bad tonight. I apologize. I was listening to what you were saying. And now I really forget things. Sugar, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I do too.
Well, I was going to ask something else anyway. I was just wondering, how long does it last in your system or stay in your system? I was asking if you get a high, and you're talking about euphoria. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. You know, I've had people say it lasts a couple days, and I've had other people say that it lasts a month. So I mean, I don't exactly know.
Well, that's
I haven't
yeah.
really been able to.
That's lasting your system, but like okay, say if I take it with my coffee. Well, do you take it with food, or can you take it alone by itself?
I take it on an empty stomach.
Okay, and how does it last once you? How long will it last once you take it? That's what I meant. Does it last a long time? A few hours?
Usually, I mean, for me, let's see, probably around like 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
'Cause I do it like 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll just do it once. Really depends on how much pain I'm in. But yeah, so usually the morning is like just for my back pain and my stiffness and to wake me up, give me some energy, you know, right with my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the afternoon, if my back is hurting, you know, I'll do another one. And then depending, usually I skip a third just unless it's like really bad pain day. But the last one might be like around dinner time if I need it.
Okay. I mean, so it really is kind of like, at least for the, you know, if medicinal aspect, it's like taking something like a medicine 3 times a day. Except you don't even have any. I mean,
how you feel?
Yeah, because like I'm just learning about kratom, and you know, when I first started learning about it, that's all I heard was bad things too. You know, like, and I, you know, I instantly like put it with a drug thing. I am interested in though just taking it more in a casual way though too. Besides just as for, is there a casual way for it? Like just because, you know, you enjoy it, like
just
people
drink
smoking
some tea.
cigarettes.
Yeah, it's tea. I mean, just have
Or
a cup
tea.
of tea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I tell people. You know, it's tea. It's literally it's a tea leaf. Like there's nothing scary. There's nothing dangerous. There's nothing. It's just a tea leaf. You know.
Yeah.
Very peaceful herb. You know, like there's nothing. Oh, the FDA makes me so angry.
Yeah. So in your opinion, then, you don't think kratom is dangerous?
No, not at all. No.
Do you have a lot? I mean, are there a lot of people that do this, like, and use it, or that you know, or is it more of a kind of specialty kind of thing? I don't.
Oh yeah, I know. No, I know a lot of people that use it. I mean, I just moved across the country, and I mean, basically just from networking online, like everybody that I know down here they're all kratom tea drinkers, you know, and they're just the coolest group of people. Like we all have gone through the same thing. We all have either chronic pain, you know, and we were unable to get out of bed before, or we had addiction and we weren't able to even live a good life before, you know. So now we're all happy and we're all living our lives. We have families, we have jobs, you know, and we just see, you know, it's nothing. Like it's just, I don't know, it's a remarkable herb. Like it's changed my life 100%. Like if you guys knew the shit that I went through in my past. Like, people always said that I wasn't going to be nothing. Like, I was just going to die a junkie. And here I am with a family. You know, I lost my 2 oldest kids in my addiction because of my using. And now I have, you know, my 4 kids here, and I love them. They're my everything. They're the reasons I stay clean. You know, I do this for them. And Kratom makes me a better mother. It gives me the energy and the happiness to get up and dance with my kids and play with them. You know, if I didn't have Kratom, I'd either be on pain management, laying in bed, popping pain pills because my back hurts, when now I just, you know, I can drink some tea and go play with my kids pain-free, you know, like,
right.
It's just, I don't know, you know, it's just it's remarkable.
Well, that's amazing. That's so awesome. If people want to do something about this and help out too, so they don't put it as a schedule, are they doing it as a Schedule 1 or 2? Do you know? Or trying to?
Well, since they weren't able to ban it on a federal level, I think that's why the states are attacking now individually, is because they know that we're going to, I mean, you got to remember in 2016, 99.1% of America said, no, do not ban this tea leaf. Like, it's tea. Stop. Go worry about your opiates and your heroin. Leave the tea leaf alone. You guys are trying to cut people off their pain pills. Here's an alternative. Leave them, you know, leave the tea alone. So I think because they had such a big backlash, you know, we had a rally up in Washington, D.C. that we went to. I think now they're just trying to attack us on different levels, you know, by scaring people from taking it and from trying to ban it on state levels. So if you want to keep it legal, call your state representatives. Like, I know Illinois is trying to make it illegal. Tennessee was trying to make it illegal. I think it was Kansas was trying to make it illegal. You know, if you live in those states, call your representatives and tell them, like, Kratom should not be illegal.
Wow, like, you have such an amazing story, and such an amazing journey, and congratulations on you know, everything that you've done. And I'm talking about, like, your family and everything like that. That's awesome. Do you still you said you went to school for drug therapy, or to be a therapist for substance abuse users?
Yeah.
Do you do that still?
I got my psych degree.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Do you use that at all ever?
No, not yet.
No?
Hopefully I will eventually. But for now, I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I work from home, and I basically just try and get, if I see people on Facebook, you know, that are struggling or something, I just try and spread the knowledge, you know, and let them know there's a way out without having to, you know, feel like you're hooked on pharmaceuticals or anything like that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I wish you know, it's such a shame because there's so many people struggling, you know, in the substance abuse community and in, you know, the intractable pain or chronic pain community. And if this could be a way without a lot of side effects and it would be natural, you know, I don't understand that. Do you know if, if anybody has been ingested it or whatever, if it's hard on any of your body internally, like kidneys or anything like that?
No, I haven't heard of anything. I haven't really heard of anybody having issues with any organs or anything like that. Constipation's the main thing that you kind of hear people complaining about.
Really, constipation? Because I thought I'm sorry. I thought Kelly said it was from the coffee family, and it could be a diuretic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's regulated meat, but some people, they get constipated.
That's so interesting.
I don't understand it. I know, right? I don't get it either, but yeah, it's different, you know.
I guess, are they trying to get it like FDA approved, or do you think that will ever go that way? Just kind of like how what they're doing with marijuana?
Well, there's this Kratom extract that I read about that they are going to approve, or they might have already approved it. I'm not sure.
Really?
But so far, that's the only thing that I've heard of. For everything else, I haven't. But I'm not even sure if that went through or not.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I just wanted to let you know, too, there's a ton of people on YouTube live chatting away, and everybody's saying, awesome story, congrats, thank you so much. They appreciate you advocating. Yeah. Did you want to share anything else before we get going this evening? Did I miss anything, or did we miss anything about it?
No, I don't think so. No, I think we covered everything.
Okay.
I think we're pretty good.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey, and it's not easy to talk about that you used heroin and stuff like that. I know a lot of people usually think it's a terrible thing, or you're hiding it, but it's part of who you are, and you're not just that. You're all of these different things. You have a beautiful family. You've done all these wonderful things, and something else. I think people don't realize sometimes too that that's just a disease, just like everything else. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, and I'm not sure why, but people think that in the United States, at least.
I don't even understand why people are ashamed of it. I mean, most of the country is hooked on opiates now anyway. So any story that you can share with hope is going to help somebody, So why not help save somebody from sharing the hell that you went through,
Yeah. Well,
that's my view on it.
And you know what you're talking about earlier with Suboxone. I mean, they're using Suboxone that's an opioid actually, but it works differently on your brain receptors. But they're putting that out for them. They're putting you out on methadone. I mean, if
but they make money off of those.
True, that is true.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why.
Good point. So it's the money.
Shame.
Yeah. Well, if enough people speak out and come together, they're gonna have to just let it go through, I think. Hopefully.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And if we do end up doing another rally in D.C., I'll let you know, and that way you can share it with your people. And
yes,
then
absolutely.
We can get a whole team of people up there in Washington again.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, and I hope you have a great evening. And, yeah. Thank you, KK.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, Call Nation. Well, I wanted to thank KK for coming on this evening again, and also Kelly Durham for coming on yesterday. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to talk about urine analysis screenings and toxicology screenings. Tuesday, Dr. Terry Lewis will be on, and Wednesday, Dr. Jeff Ferdum, I think is how you pronounce it, will be on Wednesday. And then again, Dr. Klein, the Doctor's Corner, will be on Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Time. Also, I want to thank everybody out on YouTube that was chatting away, and good questions, and I appreciate you guys joining in this evening. I hope you all have a good evening, and good night.
Listening to Conspiracies Against Wellness with Janelle Elgaway. Join us next week to get in on the conversation. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and callers, and not necessarily those of EXG, LLC, its employees, or sponsors. I'm David Schiff.
The Cause Show with Janelle Elgaway is copyright 2017 by EXG LLC. All rights reserved.